So with the Trump administration in full effect, obviously we did see a ceasefire in Gaza, but that has now been broken by Israel, and shit has been getting worse here in the States as well. Obviously, we have the protester from Columbia University, Muhammad Khalil, who was arrested by ICE and is facing deportation. Now, this happened a few weeks ago, so this isn't like a breaking story. You probably have already heard of this before. Despite the fact that Khalil is a green card holder, as it says here, it is likely that he could get his green card revoked. And this is a whole thing because there's a whole legal process that has to go through this. A lot of the Trump ICE administration actions have been very have been pretty illegal. Pretty illegal, but he obviously doesn't care, and I don't think that's going to change anything when it comes to how this is all being processed. He's just gonna do whatever he wants. So this is what's going on in the States. This is obviously a breach of free speech, but obviously the Trump administration is not going to care, especially when it comes to defending Israel. And speaking of Israel, there has been some pretty terrible shit going on over there as well, including a Oscar-winning Palestinian director attacked by Israeli settlers and detained by the army. Now, he has been let go. He was freed from the Israeli army because he was being held by them, even though he was the one being attacked. And I believe there were even possible IDF members who were a part of the settlers who beat up this director. But following this article here, Israeli settlers beat up one of the Palestinian co-directors of the Oscar-winning documentary film No Other Land on Monday in the occupied West Bank before he was detained by Israeli military, according to two of his fellow directors and other witnesses. The filmmaker, Hamdan Balil, was one of 3 Palestinians detained in the village of Sisia, according to attorney Lee Tresmel. Police told her they're being held at a military base for medical treatment, and she said she hasn't been able to speak with them. Because that seems like a good thing to do. Make sure their attorney can't speak to them. Now, obviously, again, he was, if he was just there for medical treatment, that was great, but still, it's a little weird that he was being detained by the military and not the fucking settlers. And as it mentions here, another one of the directors witnessed the detention and said around 24 settlers, some masked, some carrying guns, and some in an Israeli uniform, attacked the village. Soldiers who arrived pointing their guns at the Palestinians while settlers continued to throw stones. So even when they're explicitly the victims and they're supposedly there to help them, they still can't help but point their guns automatically at them. Now again, the guy has been released, which is great, but still, this whole thing, it's a situation where obviously he's the victim, but it still goes horribly wrong and shows how fucking evil the Israeli forces are. Where as automatically when they show up, there's a group of people doing violence and they point their guns at the victims, and then they detain him, don't let his attorney speak to him, and eventually release him. But still, it feels like kidnapping in a way. And later on in the article, they say that the Israeli military said it detained 3 Palestinians suspected of hurling rocks at forces, and 1 Israeli civilian involved in a violent confrontation between Israelis and Palestinians. They arrested him for throwing rocks. That's their reasoning for detaining him, because because they suspected that he threw rocks. And that just goes to show how fucking insane they are, because there are literally people in Israel who honestly think that if you throw a rock, you're a terrorist. I mean, they've already been killing journalists, but there's also a Al Jazeera journalist that was killed by Israel. I believe this was after the ceasefire was called off by Israel. The Israeli military targeted his vehicle without giving any prior warning. So they were obviously, looking to kill him. Colleagues of Sabat has shared his final words in a post on X pre-written by Sabat. He wrote, "If you're reading this, it means I have been killed or most likely targeted by the Israeli occupation forces." He wrote that over the 18 months of war, he has dedicated every moment to his people. "I documented the horrors in northern Gaza minute by minute, determined to show the world the truth they try to bury. I slept on pavements, in schools, in tents, anywhere I could. Every day was a battle for survival. I endured hunger for months. I have never left my people's side." So this is a man who has sacrificed everything to make sure that the world knew what people in Palestine were living through, what his people were living through. And he was definitely 100% targeted by Israel. And, like, it just goes to show, like, especially, I mean, fucking, it happened under the Biden administration, too. But in terms of, like, Israel killing journalists. But now when it comes to, like, Muhammad Khalil, you can tell, like, the suppression of speech is more prevalent now more than ever when it comes to, like, the Trump administration and their collaboration with the Israeli forces. So you think this would be an important thing to talk about if you are a pro-Palestine supporter? Something that, like, you would definitely want to cover, be like, hey, look at these expressions of, like, free speech being violated only to service, you know, Israel, whether it's a green card holder being threatened deportation for speaking out against Israel, whether it is a Palestinian director who documented what was going on in Palestine, being fucking beaten down by settlers and then kidnapped by the Israeli forces, or whether it being a Palestinian journalist who was killed by Israel. If you believe that you yourself were a pro-Palestinian voice, this is obviously something you would cover, right? You wouldn't cover, I don't know, some random dude's merch. This wouldn't be like a big focal point in your, you know, pro-Palestine advocacy over like these real examples, right? But no, apparently Ethan Klein rather talk about Hassan's merch and try to, like, I don't know, make fun of it, talk shit about it, instead of actually covering real issues. And we're not even going to watch this clip. I mean, you can see here, it's literally him just going through Hassan's merch, talking about it. Like, let's look through his podcast real quick. Let's look through his podcast. Because let's see what he deems to be important. And here's the thing. Obviously, I have said before that I just didn't want to talk about Ethan Klein anymore. I think he's just lost it. I don't think it's productive. But, like, I feel like that time has kind of gone and went. Where I think it's fine to call this insane shit, especially when he believes himself to be a pro-Palestinian voice. Like, he's talking about Noah Samsen, because Noah Samsen called him out and being like, hey, you say you're a pro-Palestinian voice, yet you only, you know, spread like Hazabura, you know, pro-Israel talking points. And he was like, how dare you, you're a creep, actually you're R-wordist.
Also, if I was Noah, I wouldn't get into the whole rape denial lane.
Oh, he straight up is all in it.
Interesting.
History.
But some information to tell you, but after the show.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
About him?
Yep.
Oh, about the Cody Coates?
No, it's nothing. It's nothing that you know about yet. It's interesting how many people come out of the woodwork. Noah.
We'll get to that.
Exes, you know.
Oof. Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show.
Okay, we're not going to jump into this, right?
Exactly. I want to do due diligence and everything, but upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
Oh my God, you guys, don't miss Friday's show.
2 days later.
So he make it clear, because people get very,
Yes.
people like to take things and run with it. You are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah Samsen, as far as I know, is not a rapist. He, our relationship that we had was mostly consensual, obviously.
Because, I don't know, he, like, slept with women. It's weird. I got banned on Twitch for showing Hassan's content. No, he just replayed his content nuke over and over and over again. And didn't have the political tab on, which literally only exists because of his advocacy, well, like, his smear campaign against Hassan. But, like, it's just Hassan. This is, by the way, a guy who says that he is a staunch pro-Palestinian voice. But he only talks about Hassan. He doesn't talk about real shit. He does not give a shit. Because it's never been about being pro-Palestine. It's just being pro-Israel in the lens of trying to make people believe you're pro-Palestine. It's just this. It's insane. Like, it's just petty drama shit and no real shit at all. Like, I just don't understand this. How he can claim to be like a pro-Palestinian voice, yet none of this shit is a key factor into his, rhetoric. Like, why he doesn't talk about this shit, but would rather talk about how Noah Samson is a bad person because he called me out and I'm suing him. Look at this. I'm suing. It is gross, and I don't know. Like, I think Noah Samson actually made a great point when he was talking about this situation, because like Ethan going after Noah only really happened because Noah Samson made this video called "The YouTubers Who Backed the Genocide," and it's not just like drama slop. It is him talking about like the real circumstances of what's been going on in Gaza through the lens of drama and trying to correct the people who have been supporting it. And the same thing goes with this video. The genocide supporting YouTubers responded. Like, this is kind of what's been making Ethan lose his shit over Noah, and it's just for him calling him out. And like, I think Noah is a perfect example of what like Ethan could have been if he was like actually genuine in his pro-Palestine coverage of being like, no, I'm actually going to cover this through the lens of like what's going on in Gaza and Palestine. Because as you see, he's been doing this for like the last few months. Like, he's been trying to cover this. But the problem is that eventually he realized, like, if I wanted to really, put this in people's faces, make them really see what's going on, I'm going to have to kind of attach drama to it. So that's really kind of it. And again, like, he does it through a good lens of being like, let me call out these creators who are literally supporting a genocide. Because like, these people don't care about this. Like, these obvious breaches of free speech and a completely like clear example of a war machine that just wants to kill anybody or go after anybody who speaks ill of them. But they would rather just be like, this leftist online is bad because I believe he's pro-terrorist because I'm a fucking moron and actually don't research anything. And that's about it. And that's all I really wanted to cover today. Like, just obviously what I'm trying to like get across is like, there's very important shit going on. Like, there's a very clear cases of free speech being violated, the growing rise of fascism due to Israel and the Trump administration. And these people just don't care. They're drama slop YouTubers. They just don't care. They would rather talk about silly drama. They rather would talk about, some leftist merch than actually covering real issues, because they're not serious people. They're not. They're delusional people who think that the stuff they talk about is important, or maybe they don't and they just know that it gets some views. But it's disgusting, and I think Noah did a good thing of like trying to call these people out, even though now Ethan has seemingly directed all of his hate towards him and is now trying to lead a smear campaign against him, which is just insanely gross. But I hope the best for Noah in that circumstance. Hello everyone, thank you for watching today's video. If you would like to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe down below. If you would like to check out my gaming videos, you can follow me at FruitySaur Gaming. And if you'd like to check out my podcast where I talk about anime, comics, movies, video games, and even pro wrestling, you can follow me at The Fruit Basket. But that's all I had to say for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching once again, and I will see you next time.